When people heard that Michael Tellinger was coming back on the show, a lot of people were bringing up the flat Earth.
Yes.
And so when I talked about global elite, global strategies,
Yes.
that assumes that the Earth's a globe.
Yes.
We don't have a lot of time, but do you have any thoughts on the flat Earth topic?
Yeah, Russell, I was introduced to this flat Earth theory about 2.5 years ago now, and my response to it was like most people: what a bunch of idiots! Are they insane? This is just another infiltration to try and make the New Age movement or the spiritual world. It's to infiltrate and make them look like a bunch of idiots. And I didn't even give it a second thought. I just thought it was a bunch of idiots. What I then did, because it kept coming on my radar, I thought, well, let me look at some of these things, what they say. And then I found very distinctly two areas of information. One which was feeding me some interesting scientific facts, and others which were clearly trolls to try and undermine and destabilize and make everybody look stupid. But obviously, I approach everything with a scientific perspective, and I want to know what's going on. And I've also reached the conclusion that everything we've been told is a lie, and I mean that. Everything from our knowledge of from religion to knowledge of science and technology to quantum physics, to everything we've been told and learned at school, taught at school, is a lie. And the history of our planet, everything's been manipulated, and we pretty much got to start from scratch. And so I approached the flat Earth from that perspective. Well, what if there's some semblance of truth in this? What if the ancient cultures that speak about a flat Earth, and what about all these ancient images that we get shown about the flat Earth, have more to it than meets the eye? So I started looking at it, and to my surprise, I started finding some very serious problems with the ball Earth theory, and a lot of interesting arguments that suggest that we need to investigate this a lot deeper. And for example, I found with the whole curvature thing, the global curvature thing has two elements to it. The one is that from your position of view, if you're standing on a giant ball, you're not going to see curvature anyway. There's going to be a line around you, all the way around you, that from your perspective is as far as you can see. So anyone that suggests that you're going to see a curvature of the Earth from your perspective, they haven't thought it through, and they haven't given it any scientific evaluation. However, curvature in terms of looking into the distance and figuring out whether there is any curvature, well, that was a shock to the system. I always believed that ships disappeared over the edge, and onto the ocean, in the ocean over the edge. And then I started researching that and listening to people from the military and the Navy talking about missiles that they, surface-to-surface missiles that they shoot line of sight, 80 miles into the distance, line of sight, and basically saying, look, if I can't see it, I can't shoot at it. And I'm shooting at something 80 miles away, so clearly there can't be any curvature. So that started, made me pay attention to this. And at the time, I also started looking at the globe Earth model as in the magnetic terms, and the whole thing of gravity. The fact that gravity has never been explained, it remains the most mysterious aspect of science and physics today. Nobody can explain what gravity is. It's this invisible magical force that sucks everything to a ball. They can't really explain it. They observe what they call gravity, but they can't really explain it. And I started looking at the magnetic effect, and my research into the origins of humankind, the origins of everything in creation, and my understanding of sound resonance, how sound and resonance is the source of everything. And when you read ancient scripture, when you read all ancient civilizations, they all share the same common denominator. Everything emerges, everything in creation comes out of the primordial sound and resonance of the creator or the creative source. So it is the sound and resonance that give rise to magnetic fields, and moving magnetic fields give rise to electricity and electromagnetic fields. And I started looking at that linear scientific understanding of our nature of reality and the electromagnetic universe that is actually the magnetoelectric universe, and getting a deeper understanding of that, and then realizing that the magnetic model of our Earth does not stand to scrutiny of magnetic field studies. And that suddenly started, making me examine and question the ball Earth theory in deeper scientific, with deeper scientific questions. And then you look further at the Michelson-Morley experiment that was very clearly hidden and from sight, because it clearly shows that the Earth does not move through space, which is something I never knew. I did not know that. I always believed that the Earth moved around the sun and everything was spinning and moving and traveling through space at millions of miles an hour. I always accepted what I was told by my teachers. Once again, I had to remind myself that everything we've been told is a lie. So, could the flat Earth versus ball Earth theory be one of those lies that we were told? At this stage, I have my own theories on this, but I also discovered the moment I started sharing my theories from a scientific perspective, I came under such venomous attack from people that I decided to bury it and just not talk about it, because I like to discuss everything and anything, and I invite everyone into the Ubuntu movement, and I expect people in the Ubuntu movement to be open-minded and be prepared to discuss everything and be rational about it and evaluate everything to the best of our ability. But I came under such venomous attack from people everywhere that I realized that, this is maybe not the right time to start talking about the flat Earth, because as scientific as I want to be about it, some people are just not ready to discuss it. And I realized that it has become the holiest cow, even holier than the money issue. And so for now, it's more important for us to save the world from economic slavery and find a new way out of this enslavement system that we're all born into, than worrying about whether the Earth is flat or a ball. As soon as we freed ourselves from the enslavement situation that we are in, all that stuff will come out of the woodwork in any case.
I'm talking about the real owners now. The real owners, the big wealthy business interests that control things and make all the important decisions. Forget the politicians. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets. And they own all the big media companies, so they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They got you by the balls. They spend billions of dollars every year lobbying to get what they want. Well, we know what they want. They want more for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. That's against their interest. That's right.
If you were to go to NASA and download one of their photos of the Earth in the moon's sky and put it in Photoshop, okay, drop the saturation and the levels down, you'll see that the Earth has been pasted in, because you'll see a rectangular box around the Earth. It's all fraud, it's all fake. Pretty much everything NASA puts out is fraudulent.
day long, beating you over the head in their media, telling you what to believe, what to think, and what to buy. The table is tilted, folks. The game is rigged, and nobody seems to notice. Nobody seems to care.
Lawyers, carpenters, the very minds of the people we are trying to save. But until we do, these people are still a part of that system, and that makes them our enemy. You have to understand, most of these people are not ready to be unplugged. And many of them are so inert, so hopelessly dependent on the system, that they will fight to protect it.
And you know something? They'll get it. They'll get it all from you sooner or later, because they own this fucking place. It's a big club. And you ain't in it. You and I are not in the big club.
Here they are hurling through space on a molten rock at 67,000 miles an hour, and the only thing that keeps them from flying out of their shoes is their misplaced faith in gravity.
Their misplaced faith in gravity. Their misplaced faith in gravity.
They manipulate our history books. The history books are not true. It's a lie. That's right, Michael. The history books are lying. You need to know that. You must know that.
It's really quite amazing how we've been deceived. And it's not because we're gullible. You know, it's not because we're stupid. It's not because we're dumb. It's the reason why we can be deceived so easily is because we are trusting. We have a trusting nature. It's not in our genes to lie to people. For most of us, it's not in our genes to deceive our friends, to deceive mankind, to deceive anybody. That's how we are taken advantage of. And we're not gullible. We are just trusting. We have a trusting nature. We believe that everybody is like us, and we believe that our leaders, the rulers of the earth, are there for our best interest. We vote for people that are politically correct. When they talk, they are so sincere. Tears even come out of their eyes. And we believe them. It is our nature, because we don't have it in us to deceive people like they do. We don't. I can say that our politicians are excellent actors, right? But we don't see them as an actor. We see them as people like you and me. That's what they count on. It's easy to manipulate mankind. But then we have the flat earth. We claim that we want truth, but yet the flat earth is, oh man, that's crazy. We don't even look into it. We call ourselves truthers, right? We want to find the truth about what our government is doing, about religion. We want to find the truth of who we are and why we're here and where we're going. We want to find the truth about our Creator. And we start peeling off layers upon layers of concepts of religion, peeling off all these layers that keeps us from really seeing the truth. The veils start falling. Curtains start opening, and you begin to see. That's what taking your discernment means. Is you throwing everything that you've been taught out the window and looking into it yourself. End-time prophecy is the serpent seed plan to keep control of the earth for the next 1,000 years. They've integrated their plans on the Bible so that we think that's supposed to happen, and no. We need to snap away from that. Because believe me, we are taking our earth back. We are awakening to the fact that we are being deceived on all fronts. They'd like us to think that the earth is round, right? And that we have access to space. And that there's billions and trillions of infinite galaxies out there, and that there's life out there. They like us to think that. The sun being 93 million miles away from the earth. How about 3,000 miles? How about the sun being no larger than 40 miles wide? Don't pay attention to the sun having clouds in the front and having clouds in the back. Don't pay attention to that. It's a mirage. Those clouds that you see going behind the sun is your imagination. It's not really there. Same with the moon. And there's clouds in front of the moon, and all of a sudden there's some clouds going behind the moon, and you can see it. Don't look at that. That is not true. That's a mirage. It's your imagination. You're seeing things. The camera is lying to you. The telescope is lying to you. Because the moon is 237,000 miles away, and the sun is 93 million miles away. You have people that have been going on social media as exposers of deception, but yet when it comes to the flat earth, no, we're crazy. And then they go full blast, on full blast mode against it. And I'm glad they do, because they're exposing themselves. They're totally exposing themselves. You have people that for years and years and years give you updates. And they're doing you a service. They're telling you, watch out for this asteroid. It's supposed to come around because according to this application here, it's going to have a close rendezvous with the Earth. They sound the alarm, and it's great. I really appreciate them. And I'm not talking bad about them. But there's going to come a time that they're going to have to look at the flat Earth. And they're going to realize that they've been had. That they've been deceived. Okay? We're going to find out who is really working for the truth. Who's the real truther and who's the real poser. That's what it's coming down to. People are going to expose themselves. And that is great. I kick myself for not looking into it before because it makes total sense. It goes along with everything that I've been researching. It makes total sense. It coincides with the New World Order. Deceive the masses. To discredit our Creator. I mean, it just totally fits perfectly. I am amazed. I am thankful that I looked into it. And all of you out there that are researching and putting out videos, I want to thank you. Don't give up. We need the ammunition, and the ammunition to take our world back is you throwing everything that you've been taught out the window and looking into it yourself. You see, we know right from wrong. We know what righteousness is. We know it's wrong to take advantage of people. We know it's wrong to poison people. We know it's wrong to steal from people. We know it's wrong to be disrespectful to the one that loves us, to our parents. We know righteousness. And every day, from the time we're born till the time we die, we have a choice to abide in righteousness, to abide in Him, because we are born in His image. And we have a Creator whose love for us manifests in what He has created for us. But the serpent seed wants to keep you on the book, because then you judge everybody by the book, and we judge each other by the book. All those who abide by the letter judge the world by the letter. All those who abide by the letter judge each other. Just look at how many religions there is, and we are divided. Exactly what the serpent seed and the powers that be want. If you choose righteousness, then you see the good in everyone. When you abide by the Spirit, when you abide in His righteousness, you see the good in people. And that was Jesus. Jesus gave us that perfect example. He could befriend anybody. We are awakening to the fact that we are being deceived on all fronts. They'd like us to think that the earth is round. They like us to think that. The deception is deep, my friends.